Durantya sprishtadiya pratagdrisha kurvanti tatra yanukampaya krupam na sadhavo daiva balakrite kramam. Okay, anybody wants to give it a shot? Yasmin yada pushkarana bhamayaya durantaya sprishtadhiya pratagdrisha kurvanti tatra anukampaya kripam na sadhavo daiva balat krite kramam. Yasmin yada pushkarana bhamayaya durantaya sprishtadiya pratagdrisha kurvanti tatra yanukampaya kritam na sadhavo daiva bala krite kramam. Yasmin yadha pushkarana bhamayaya durantaya sprishtadhiya pratagdrisha kurvanti tatra yanukampaya kripam na sadhavo daiva bala krite kramam. Ladies. Yasmin yadha pushkarana bhamayaya durantaya sprishtadiya pratagdrisha kurvanti tatra yanukampaya kritam na sadhavo daiva balat krite kramam. Yasmin yadha pushkarana bhamayaya durantaya sprishtadiya pratagdrisha kurvanti tatra yanukampaya kripam na sadhavo daiva bala krite kramam. Very nice. Yasmin, in some place. Yada, when. Pushkarana bhamayaya, by the illusory energy of the Pushkaranabha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Durantaya, insurmountable. Sprishtadhiya, bewildered. Pratagdrisha, the same person who sees differently. That's a very interesting word, pratagdrisha. We'll see if we get time to talk about that. Kurvanti, do. Tatra, he, certainly. Anukampaya, out of compassion. You may notice that kampa and compassion, same words. Kampa, compassion. Same words. Sanskrit, English. It travels through Latin and comes back to English. Kripam, mercy. Na, never. Same words. Na, no in English. Sadhava, saintly person. Daiva balat, by providence. Krite, being done. Kramam, prowess. Okay, it's a translation, Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear Lord, maybe we can do call and response. My dear Lord, if in some places materialists who are already bewildered by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Godhead, sometimes commit offenses. A saintly person with compassion does not take this seriously, knowing that they commit offenses because they are overpowered by the illusory energy. He does not show his prowess to contract them. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurummitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Vande Nandavajasti. Sorry, I don't do the routine. Vande Nandavajastrinam Padrenam Avikshnasha Yasam Harikatodgitam Punati Bhunatrayam. Okay, so let's do it. Fourth canto, sixth chapter. So we're at a stage where the devastated Daksha Yagna was already been devastated, so things are settling down. Brahma took the, I think I spoke about this in the last class. Brahma took the responsibility to bring peace in the two communities. Someone has to do it. Someone has to do it. Sometimes when there is two like groups going head to head, and I watched that for a long time. And then I kind of take a initiative myself. I say, the problem with two leaders, what happens when the problem with two leaders are fighting, or when two leaders have an issue, what happens is that the followers get very bewildered. Because this person has a line, group of followers, and this person usually has a group of followers. They might have an issue, but the way it trickles down is the whole group of this and whole group of this has a problem to each other. They don't see that. And in the spur of the moment, like, you did that to me, you did that to me. You know, on the Janmashtami day, I asked you to dress Krishna yellow, but I saw there was a tinge of blue border on that, and it doesn't take much to light up the fire. You know, the Doors, Jim Morrison, light my fire, baby. Anyway. I'm dating myself. So, what happens is when these two big leaders have a fight, usually it is bound that these followers and these followers also become generate animosity between them. So someone has to take an initiative. And one time I remember I was trying to take an initiative and someone said, "Can you just shut up and sit down? Let them solve themselves, let them resolve themselves." I said, I know, they're all adults. Let them resolve themselves. I said, yeah, I know, but I want to do my part. See what I can do. So Brahmaji has taken the responsibility to kind of solve and build the bridges, as they speak in Australia. Build the bridge between Shiva's followers and Daksha's followers. So that's the attempt going on here. That's where we are at. And it's very important to take that attempt because the people that are on the both sides of both camps are extremely important people. Like Bhrigu, we have a lineage of Bhrigu here, and we have a lineage of Nandi here. And they're all not normal people. It's very extraordinary people. And when the followers see that there is like a big division, they lose on benefits. If they follow really the quarrel of the leaders, and they really fall into the quarrel, and say the group of Bhrigu are starting to hate Nandi and anybody there, what are they missing out on? They're missing out on so many things that Nandi can offer to the movement. Do you understand? And when Nandi's followers are hating Bhrigu, and they harbor, they call it harbor, they harbor that animosity, what are they losing on? They're losing on Bhrigu's authority, his texture, his scriptures, his power. the prowess that comes from tapasya. And then when so this is vice versa, this keeps going. So somehow some leader has to step in and see if they can bridge the gap. The reason it's not because, I mean, of course, that's also a good reason. If you can if you can see some bridges in the sects and bring them together, that's also good. But what the higher principle is, we want to make sure we're not missing out the two polarized benefits that we bring to a movement. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's very important. So that's what Brahma is trying to do. Brahma is trying to bring them into the peace. Brahma is trying to see that we get the benefit of both Nandi's compassion, Nandi's broad-minded liberal devotees. And then we have Bhrigu, who is a conventionalist. So there is some benefit in both. So Brahma is doing that role. He's saying, okay, let us bring this together. Because if this keeps going on forever, it's not a good thing from a cosmic point of view. Yeah, does it make sense? So that's what Brahma is trying to do. But this is really what I wanted to talk. When I was reading, did I say Pushkarana Bhava was interesting? This is really what I wanted to talk. In the last few verses, I don't know who some of you might have been following all the last few verses. If you watch the last few verses carefully, since Brahma arrived at the scene, all the shlokas that have been offered to Shiva is as if exactly the shlokas that are offered to Krishna or the universal form in the second canto. Did you notice that? It's exactly the same. And someone may say, what is going on here? And sometimes he's addressed as Bhagavan. Sometimes even Brahma in the second canto, towards the last chapters of the second canto, you will see Brahma being explained. His smile is compared to the beautiful lusty girls in roaming around in the twilight. Brahma's forehead, Brahma's smile is compared to the lustrous, what do you call the hourglass figures. Girls, like beautiful girls, and partying on this twilight times. So Brahma there is glorified to the level of universal form, to the level of Krishna. And here in the past 5-6 verses, Shivaji, Lord Shiva, has been glorified to the level of like Vishnu. Like some of the things is like you would read and you'll think, oh my God. What does it say? This is like completely, you have ordained the heavenly planets. This is from 45. The most auspicious Lord, you have ordained the heavenly planets, the spiritual Vaikuntha planets, the impersonal Brahman sphere. Whoa. What's going on here? Because Krishna is clearly saying, Brahmano hi pratishtoham. Right? And here, Brahma is saying, you are the one who established impersonal Brahman. You are the Lord of impersonal Brahman. And the respective destinations of the performance of the all auspicious activities. Similarly for others who are miscreants. So this is 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You also take care of the miscreants. And then he's going, who are destined to the hells which are horrible and ghastly, yet sometimes it is found that you can even act on contrary and show mercy on them. This is Krishna's prayers. Why are these like amplified, upgraded, upgraded prayers, when you go to order something like put a few dollars more and we'll upgrade your meal or something. It's upgraded prayers. You've been to the restaurants, like another $5 and we upgrade your meal, like you get the big one. Upgraded, like it's really going heavy, and you see what's going on here. And this will be a fantastic opportunity for Shivites. I come from a Shiva background. I was born in Shivites background. It was like, we used to do this daksha. We used to, what do you call that when you do the drama? Skit, isn't it? You know all about it. You're the director of the skits. So every single function, that doesn't matter. The child is born, he's losing his hair, he's getting bald, he gets a name, he gets a danda, he gets a flower. Anything happens, we had to do a whole skit of Daksha Yagna. And even in weddings, my wife is actually not from India. She's from Fiji. And we had to take her to, when my wedding, the condition was the whole gang had to come to India. And I'm a very little town. And the wedding started, and before the wedding, oh, the Akshaya, all the Nandis came out, and all the Arare Veera, and my wife was like, oh my God, when is this going to be finished? I said, no, that's going to go for a long time. That went on for 3-4 hours, and she was like, what's going on? And they pierce rods through their cheeks, they're piercing their, like, they show the pain of losing sati. It's just really intense. And they pierce rods to their cheeks like this, and by the time he comes, he's like 6 like spikes around his face, and he gets, can we get a picture? And Kamala is like, no, thank you very much. Good try. So, anyway, so this is like, we have like, can you believe the opportunity that Shivites have now? Can you believe like my people if I go to the town and I read them, they're like, you idiot, you are an idiot. We always told you not to join Hare Krishna. This was sufficient. We have Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, who does the, Vaikunthas, who's got everything under control. You're an idiot. We always told you. Why do you join Hare Krishna? Chanting Hare Krishna. So I get that all the time anyway. So this is a good opportunity, right? How do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? So I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson, yeah? A little bit of history class. And make sure you have your Neurofence with you. So the problem is, because the audience that Brahma is praying in the front of is a completely different audience that we currently have on this planet. They knew exactly where Brahma is going from. They knew exactly that Shiva is a guna avatar descending as a manifestation from Krishna to take care of this planet, the material situation, the physical situation of this planet. They knew that offering prayers through Shiva, eventually it is actually glorifying Krishna. They knew this. But we dealing with a society, we dealing with a community which is completely disparaged, completely divided. We find every single opportunity to divide ourselves. Even if if you like, sometimes at the shopping malls you see this guy reverse parks nicely, like in one curve, and then when he gets out he's like, did you see my parking there? That's how you park. We find every single opportunity to raise our collars and show how we are very distinct from all the rest of the... Which sampradaya do you come from? Oh, such a lowly sampradaya. I am from Brahma Madhya Gaudiya. Every single opportunity, we have every single opportunity to find a distinction, to find a division. But it is extremely important to understand the audience. The audience that Brahma is dealing with, they knew exactly. They knew Kshiram Deda Yati Vikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nahi Pratagasti Heto Yashambhutam Apitada Sampayati Karyad Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. They knew that. Kshiram Yatha Dadivikara Vishesha Yogat. It's the same person, Govinda, but transformed. Vikara Yogat. Sanjayate Naitata Pratagasti Heto. There is a reason, Heto, Sanjayate. He brought himself, Krishna brought himself to ordain a particular function. Yashambhutam apitada samutayati karyad. And he's following that particular function. But Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. We see Govinda even in this. Do you see? These guys were up to date with all that. But we find every single opportunity to find a division. I worship. Like if you go to, I won't name the places, but I went to Chardham, like with our great Satsen Prabhu. So always grateful to him. So he took me on this Chardham, and every dham I used to go, we are the great Sampradaya. There's only one place in Jaipur. I went to Radha Govind temple in Jaipur. When they saw me, when they saw my tilak, when they identified me as an ISKCON devotee, boom, they opened the gates into the Garbhasthan of the Gudi. Said, you are okay to go and stand there. I said, why? Said, aren't you from Prabhupada? I said, yeah, we are from Prabhupada. We are Prabhupada Anuragas, Rupa Nugas. So I said, Prabhupada Nugas. He took me straight, opened the gate straight and took me in there. I said, I'm not sure I'm supposed to be standing here. Nah, you're here. And the reception I got was overwhelming. I was like, oh my God. So every other dham you go, we are distinct. Do you understand our sampradaya? So this kind of things weren't present. It was a very tolerant, inclusive society. It's a very inclusive society. So the same thing is happening. So this is the audience from Brahma. So now you might be thinking, okay, Radhika Prasad, thanks very much for the psychological aspect of that. Well, what does that have to do with our planet now? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China, as they say? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China, right? So it's a metaphor. Okay. So anyway, so what does that have to do with our lives every day? We are also dealing with a very, very tricky audience on this planet now. It's a very tricky audience. They have been, let's think about what we have gone through. Just think about, sometimes we read history and we think, oh my God, this is too much. But if you actually were there, it's worse. Think about the Crusaders. Think about the Inquisitions. Think about the witch trials. Think about the 30 years of bloodshed, Protestants and Catholic wars. Think about the world wars. Think about 1944, Second World War. The last 1500s of these years of this planet has been nothing but bloodshed. Just in the name of a military religion. Religion was never backed by military until our Middle Eastern, our 3-4 Middle Eastern religions came into the picture. Religion was never supposed to be backed with military. It was never like that. There is a personal diary of an ambassador. This was 2000 years ago. His name was Megasthesis. You might be thinking, okay, we're going on a scenic route here, but we'll come back. I'm taking you on a scenic route. But we'll come back to the shloka. Don't panic. So there is a record of Megasthesis. He's a Greek ambassador to India just straight after Chanakya had united Bharat with the power of Chandragupta Maurya. And they had united all the way from Persia to all the way to Malaysia. It was one big Jambudvipa, Bharatakhanda. That was his motto, Chanakya's. So Greek ambassador, after Alexander, some Greek ambassadors were starting to visit. And one of the very interesting character was Megasthesis. And he writes a book named Indica. You heard of that book? In Greek, Indica means belonging to India. Like in Hindi we say, India se hai. So to say that in Greek you say Indica, means India se hai. So this book belonged to India, and he gives this beautiful journey of his India all the way from Himalayas down to the Kanyakumari and all the way to Persia, to Malaysia, and he traveled everywhere, and he gives a beautiful record of India. And he says he was shocked, first time in the world he found no slavery. They were Shudras, but they had dignity and they had a place in the society. They had a proper function they had a identified, recognized proper function. He was shocked. No slavery. Wow. Animals were taken care of. There was no need of animal rights and vegans. Because animals were taken care of everywhere. He actually writes it. I'm not blowing smoke here. There is a book available on Amazon. You can read this. He says, there's no animal protection. Cows were never killed. Not even if before killing a goat, there was like 1,000 thought processes. Is she old? Is she diseased? Can that be used in a sacrifice to rejuvenate? So many things they were thinking. And now this you'll think, oh, come on, Radhika Prasad. No, come on. Seriously? Every international traveler had an automatic traveling insurance cover. Can you believe this? Every single person that came to India from foreign to travel, once there was stamping going on, once they stamped, they were automatically covered for all the travel insurance was automatically covered. If you get sick, you're covered. If you died, they made sure that you got proper funeral rights. Your children were protected. There were no animal slaughtering going on. And the most shocking thing was there's no slaves. Because in Greek and the Middle Eastern, slaves is normal. That's how you gift people. How do you gift? You gift a slave. That's how you show your recognition to your superiors. And he was like, oh my God, who are these people? And the tolerance was amazing, the religious tolerance. He thought, blew his mind away. Because he's traveling up there and everybody was like, you don't take our God, this philosophical monotheism and this tribal monotheism. Philosophical monotheism is you try to build philosophically, there's this one God, Ishvara Parama Krishna. Tribal is, my God is the greatest and he can easily beat up your God. That's tribal monotheism. So, my God will beat up your God. Be careful. Okay? Be very careful and make sure you tell your God, make sure you go and report this to your God. Because when my God comes, he's going to beat up your God very bad. This is how it was going on, tribal monotheism. Though he watches all this coming through the Silk Road, and he comes to India and he was like, oh my Govinda, who are these people? Complete religious tolerance. Buddhist was going around the whole continent. Vedas were what we were. Bharat was what it is. Vedas was what it was. And Buddhist was going around saying, damn the Vedas, forget them. They're getting burnt in the library. Yeah. Not much lost. No great loss. The condemning Vedas. Can you imagine if you stood in the 16th century, if you stood Philip V, in the regime of Philip V in Britain, condemning Bible? You know what your life expectancy would be? After you condemn Bible, say you're standing in the middle of the city and you condemn Bible. How long do you think would you live after that? 5 seconds? You drastically reduced your life expectancy. Like your head is flying up the trees, like boom. And children are holding it and playing with your head. That's how drastic it was. So this is tribal monotheism. So he comes to the point, and the main books, Vedas, were criticized, raging around the whole continent, criticizing them. And what do the conventionalists do? Yeah, sure, let's have a debate. Let's get together and talk. You don't agree with me? No problem, Prabhuji. Let's talk. I don't agree with you? No problem, Prabhuji. Let's sit and talk. Let's talk like gentlemen. Why can't we meet and talk like gentlemen? Why do we need to harass that my God will beat up your God? Or, my guru has 10,000 disciples and your guru only has 10 disciples. We find every single point we can find on our side. My guru has 15,000 disciples, and how many disciples do your guru have? Anyway, so we find every single point. So this was not how it was. So we're going through this psychopathic, diabolic, past 2,000 years, fighting on the name of whose God is living God and whose God is dead God. And then we come to this, in the 6th century, we have this new Middle Eastern religion, started with the caliphs. The first caliph, the second caliph, and the third caliph, and the fourth caliph. You know where I'm going. And by the time the second caliph took over, Omar took over from Prophet Muhammad, can you guess how many square kilometers did he expand his empire? Can you guess? Just take a number. Take a number. Just guess. Anybody, give it a shot. No wrong answer. Throw us a number. Upgrade. 500,000 square kilometers. All the way from the Ballantines to all the way south to Egypt. All the way down to the Egypt. Ballantines, Babylon, through the Rome, and all the way Greeks, and all the way Ottomans, obviously, clearly, Constantine, converted to Istanbul. All the way from Istanbul to the left, Persia to the east, up to the Ballantines, down to the Egypt. 500,000 kilometers. Just backed by crude military force. So we've gone through that period, and then I don't have to go through the rest of the history, the Golden Empire, and then the Crusaders. So the Europe was completely occupied, so someone had to stop this. So the Crusaders comes. And the Crusaders, you read the Crusaders and you think this is too much, but every scholar that I met, they say it was the reality was worse than what you read. Knock the door. You have a son? Yeah, I have a son. Come on, we're going to war. He's only 14 years old. Doesn't matter. Does he have a sword? Yeah, we have a sword in the house. Ask him to pick it up. We're joining. That's it. Get up on the horse. Let's go. Millions and millions of people ravaging around the whole Europe continent, just completely leveling it down. Then comes Genghis Khan, levels the whole Baghdad. Then comes the Mughals to India. Then we have the whole India, almost quarter of it going Islamic. And then comes our the best of the breed, the colonization, the East India Company. Hail the Queen Mary. And then in the name of the 13 colonies around the world, they used to say the sun never sets in the British Empire. Did you know that? There's a popular saying. They used to say the sun never sets on the British Empire. Because they had covered quarter of the globe, livable land. take away Antarctica and Atlantic and all this, quarter of the living land was completely taken, pushing Christianity into every nook and corners, Pacific Islands, India, Malaysia, every pushing it. And now when you go out there and you chant Hare Krishna, and people have no idea what you're doing, what you're talking about. Really, and all they want is one more religion on this planet. Because they've gone through too much. Too much blood, too much tears. And then finally, ours truly, we have inherited 1,000 years of golden avatar. We have inherited 1,000 hours of golden avatar. In between this turmoil this earth had gone through in the last 2,000 years, the bloodsheds, the tears, the divisions in the name of every single thing. Your God, my God, Vishnu, Shiva will fight. Buddhist, what is that land in Burma that everybody fights? Say it. Who said that? Not Cambodia. No, yes, you're right. But the one that starts with R, the Muslim tribes that got slaughtered completely. That's the thing. Yeah. Thank you, man. Yes, correct. So we see all this and we completely like bloodshed on this planet, and all this planet wants is one more religion. And now we have inherited this torch of Gaudiya, and we have inherited to spread this into this planet. Now how on God's planet are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? We have an extremely momentous challenge in front of us. And you're thinking, why am I giving you this pain? Why am I giving you this pain? Why am I giving you this pain of history? Do we really need to go through this on Sunday morning? We all work so hard 6 days, right? And all we want is on a Sunday morning, just have a little Krishna Katha, just have a little chant Hare Krishna, have a little khichdi, go to our rooms and relax. And this Radhika Prasad comes, and God knows which planet he comes from, and then he gives this pain and this suffering and 2,000 years of history loading us up with, do we really need this loading? Honestly, no, you don't deserve this pain. But I've taken my job to give pain. Just joking. So, what I'm trying to say, the reason I brought this up is because just like Brahma understands his audience and giving the praise that suits their audience, we have to find a way to glorify Krishna to our audience of this planet. Bring it to this, make it contemporary so that they can connect to what on God's planet, what the heck are we doing? What are we all about? We are not just about strange dresses and marks on our forehead. That's not what we are all about. We have a very, very powerful philosophy. What we have is, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children and adults, please understand, we have the most revolutionary philosophy in our hands. Nobody had this opportunity. This Sunday is actually, this Sunday class is actually a place and a time for our celebration. Although I've gone through all the pain, I'll tell you the biggest, the greatest opportunity to celebrate. Can you guess what it is? Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. This philosophy of oneness and difference is an absolutely unique philosophy that this planet has ever been offered. It has never been there. You can go through the whole theology I've gone through with the painstaking efforts, starting from all the way to the Plato and all the way to the Aquinas. You will clearly, people think these are the fathers of philosophy, fathers of theology. William James, the psychologist, father of philosophy. You can read Carl Jung, the father of, psychiatrist. You read their biographies, you read their, and finally they do beautiful narrations, beautiful ontologies, beautiful conclusions. But at the end, because they miss the inconceivable oneness and the difference, God can be one and God can be multi. God can be Krishna, Ishvara, Parama. God can be Gunavatar Shiva. God can be Yahweh, the living Yahweh. God can be Allah. This oneness and difference, the same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. The same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radharani. This oneness and difference is the most sophisticated theology you can ever find anywhere. You will never find it. Not just on this planet, you won't even find this on other planets like the Swarga. You read all the teachings of Brihaspati. Brihaspati, right? He is the deity of Swarga, the guru deity of Swarga. Everybody knows. You can read all the teachings of Brihaspati, but you won't find the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. This is the time of celebration. This is the time of felicity. This is the time we jump in joy. We have the power of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Now this gives us an exclusive opportunity to become inclusively tolerant to everybody on this planet. Give this to everybody, Hare Krishna mantra. Give this philosophy to everybody you meet. Take every single opportunity. Someone was asking me the other day, I was on books. Okay, too much serious philosophy. Let me lighten this up a little bit. Sankirtan story. Yeah, it's always a good idea, Sankirtan story. So I went, we're knocking doors yesterday. Where were we knocking doors, Mira? Schofield, Riverston. Okay, she bunked her school yesterday, by the way. Just putting out there. It was the last day of school. So what she does is, when it's the last day of school, she knows that nobody does anything there. They're just mucking around. So she just bunks the day. And she comes with me knocking doors. So we were knocking doors yesterday. And what was that boy? Vishnu, wasn't it? So this boy's name was Vishnu. And he opens the door and he... 30 minutes he made me sit in the house. He got grapes and fruits and dry fruits and milk and like feeding me lunch. I said, mate, I can't eat because I'm supposed to start walking now. Anyway, I was there. He said, I feel shocked seeing you. That's the reason I brought you in and I want to check with you. I'm completely shocked with what you're doing. I said, why? There is so much to do on this planet. Why the heck are you doing this? What are those bags outside the house? I said, they look like 25 kilo bags. I said, yeah, they got books in there. And where you go? What do you do? Like 10, when did you start? I said, 10 o'clock. When do you finish? I don't know about when school finishes. 2:30, 2:45, because parents go to pick up the children. So there's no point being out there knocking doors because everybody's like, you got to pick up children, get out of here. So 10 to around 2:30, 2:45. Are you an idiot? Why do you do this? What's the point? He says to me. And he said, can you tell me? I said, okay, boy, you need to understand this. And he said, I respect God, I respect Vishnu, I respect sadhus. But what I don't understand is, how do you make that, how do you jump over that line? How do you do that? Why do you do that? I said, listen to me, boy. You're 32 years old, so I'm nearly like your uncle, so pay close attention. I said to him, the problem you have, the reason you have shock in your mind is because you have two worlds in your mind. This is your one world where you have your job, where you have your promotions, where you have your salary, where you have to go up the ladder in your make money, double-story buildings, Tesla. If you don't have a Tesla parked in front of your house, you don't get much of a reception these days. So, am I right or right? Yes or yes? Yeah. So if you don't have the 250k, 300k job, you don't have a Tesla outside, it's not a 440 square yard double-story building, you have a tough time dealing with your relatives these days. So in this, you have this world, and you have this world which is sacrifice, becoming martyrs, offering yourself for God. Do you get anything back for that? Austerities, penances, a sadhana. You have these two different worlds in your mind. That's the problem. But these two different worlds are not actually different, they are actually same. You actually get all the pleasures that you wanted, all the goals that you have wanted to achieve, all the holidays that you wanted to go. It's actually included in your Krishna conscious service. When you understand that by taking up this service, you don't actually miss out and all that so-called your personal gratifications, then it's very easy. You don't even have to jump. You just walk. You just walk through the veil. There's no veil anymore. You just walk through it, sail through it. But because you have the strong distinctions of these two worlds, this is my world, my wife, my children, my husband, my job, my double-story building, house, my 400 squares, my 300k job, my holiday, my Europe finish, my bucket list. Hello? Remember the bucket list? The bucket list. And you have here tapasya, the Hare Krishna, the martyrism, the offering yourself. No. When these both become one, those 25 kilo bags, those two 25 kilo bags you're talking about outside, it's a burden of love. I get more. I used to be a skier. I loved skiing. I used to go on, I used to find these esoteric spots for skiing when I was young. No wonder I have knee problems. So I used to feel that's my meditation. But I was in the front of Whistler, Edward. Can you believe? Whistler, the temple of skiing. You know that, right? Whistler, Canada, Vancouver. I was standing in front of the Whistler. That was my Makkah. But I didn't have any interest. Not because I was detached. I just felt all the satisfaction of the skiing that I would have got if I went right onto the top. Even just standing there without doing it, I just felt completely fulfilled. There's no need for me anymore to put on those skis and catch the luge, and then go up, come back, and that was my romance. I'm telling you, that was my romance. For me, it was But I was standing in front of this Whistler, the temple, the Makkah of skiers. We'll just have a lemon drink. We'll just sit there and have a ginger tea. And my wife was shocked. She thought I was going to put on my boots and go up there. I just said, we'll just have a ginger tea and sit here. And she said, you don't feel the temptation anymore? I said, no. What about that romance? You loved me. You loved that more than me. What happened to that? She actually was, many times she used to be very angry. Because when I went to skiing, I was lost. I left her at 10 o'clock and I came back at 5 o'clock. So 7 hours, the guy is missing. The husband is missing. In action. And I was standing in Whistler and my wife said, so you're fine? I said, no, I'm absolutely fine. Just get me a ginger tea and some prasad. Have some ginger tea, nice prasad, and then beautiful. So you are this dvandva, this world is a dvandva, this world is duality. It's made for, it's rigged. Please understand. When you're chasing your desires, so-called desires, please listen to me. Please understand this. This game is rigged. You understand rigged? Rigged, like rigging elections. When elections are rigged, like people already know who's going to win. That's called rigging. So, rigging, this place is rigged. Your material pleasure, so-called physical material pleasures is already rigged. You get there and you won't be satisfied because there will always be another higher standard above it. And you have to go there now. And you go up, higher up, you get Tesla and then there's something else. It's always rigged. You never get there. So I said to him, you have these two worlds in your mind. But if you build this Krishna conscious world, your so-called Krishna doesn't need any frustrated psychopaths in the spiritual world. When you take up to Krishna consciousness, please trust me, he's a very, very intelligent and smart person. He's not a psychopath, he's not a jealous God, he's not mental. He's a very fair, he's smart, he's shrewd, he's street smart, he's very, very, how do you call it? He can play it very well. He knows. All he wants is one frustrated, unsatisfied, materialistically unsatisfied psychopath back in spiritual world. He will make sure you're completely satisfied before he'll put you on that plane. He has your interest much more than you have your own interest at heart. He will make sure that, that little desire that sometimes it's even embarrassing to admit and tell anybody. There's some things in our hearts. We don't, do we really want to deal with that now? Even those will be satisfied. Those little desires that you can't even share to your closest Sankirtan partner. You've been doing Sankirtan for like 14 years together. Closest, shoulder to shoulder, car to car, bag to bag. Like, winter to winter, summer to summer. Rings a bell? Ishwar Das? You know what I'm trying to say? Shoulder to shoulder. Tour to tour, country to country, door to door. 14 years, rugged Sankirtan, knocking the doors, setting up stalls, getting spitted on from people. You can't, even that Sankirtan partner, there's still some things that you can't share. It's inside, it's embarrassing. Krishna will even take care of that. Because he doesn't want a frustrated psychopath back in the spiritual world and create trouble there. He is the closest friend we have. He knows where we are at. He knows that we can only start from where we are. He's not expecting you to be a Paramahamsa by 4 o'clock this afternoon. There's no time limit on you. Okay, Darshanarthi is finished at 8:15. Okay, I'm going to come back at 4 o'clock and I want to see Paramahamsas here. No, it's not like that. He's very patient. Api smarasi maam. Remember Puranjana story? When Purajana takes the female body, what does he say? Api smarasi maam. Don't you remember me? We used to be together. You were with me. We were together in that world. You left me. It's been ages. You completely forgot. Bahuni me vetitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. Tanyaham veta sarvani natvam veta parantapa. You had multiple millions of lives. I remember all of them. I've been waiting for you patiently. So he's patiently waiting for you. He'll look after all your desires, inner desires. Some embarrassing, some explicit. But it'll be taken care of. So we need to be a little patient with we need to understand our audience. We are dealing with a crowd that has been prejudiced, biased, dumbed down, bloodshedded, confused by this modern science, showing them that's another God. You have this God, my God will beat up your God, and then we have this science God. This is very interesting God. This God, the name of this God is chance. Chance. Everything happens by chance. Can you believe that? The ratio of chance is the ratio of a will coming into you are willing, like you sitting there and you will to do something. Your brain, the ratio of your brain willing and making you to that action, the ratio of all the things, the possibility, the proportion, no, the probability of that is, please forgive me for this, I'm going to make this as painless as possible. 1 divided by 10 to the power of minus 142, which means 0.248 zeros and 1. If you leave to the scientist, the chances of this planet running by itself is point with 248 zeros, 284 zeros and 1. That's the kind of chance that the scientists are giving us, that this planet is built on. Can you believe it? You want to believe this rubbish? What are we? Idiots? They think that they must think that we are complete idiots to let us believe that this universe has come by chance. So they must think that we are so dumb and we are so idiot to come to believe this story. Are we so gullible? So we are dealing with the crowd outside. I'll just quickly summarize. We are dealing with the crowd outside who have been thumbed down, blooded down, shedded down, dumbed down by these thousands of dumb, tribal, monotheistic philosophy, by military regimes, military-backed religions. And on the other hand, we have these stupid modern scientists telling us that we have come by chance and the probability is 0.284 zeros and 1. If I give you the car outside, you're going somewhere, say for example after this class, I'll park a car outside and I'll tell you the chances of that car taking you to a destination, the chances of it is 0.284 zeros and 1. Will you drive that car? Will you crank that engine? Any chance? No. But if I give you guarantee, this is a new car, I just bought it, it's a hybrid Toyota, I just bought it, 5 years warranty, no problem, all roadside assistance covered, I give you a car, 100% it will take you to Central Coast right now, Gokul Ashram. Which car will you take? The car with the 248 zeros and 1 or the car with 5 years warranty, hybrid, and all it cost you is 4 liters of petrol to get to Cessnock Ashram and come back. Which one will you take? Huh? Are we so stupid to believe that this world has come? You might think I'm exaggerating. I'm telling you, please listen to me, brothers and sisters. 98% of the population has fallen for this story. You only have one chance. And Prabhupada in the purport is talking about, I remember, he's talking about forgiveness. The Shiva is not going, I'll just finish this up now. Shiva is not, what Brahma is asking, requesting to Shiva is that please do not respond to these people on the same krama, same level. He uses the word krite kramam. Daiva balat krite kramam. Please don't respond to this. Is that right? Daiva balat krite kramam. Krite kramam, Daiva balat krite kramam means don't respond to them at the same level as the offense that they've done to you. Please don't do that. Because please forgive them. That's what he's asking him. Please forgive them because if Shiva starts to respond at the same proportion as them, we wouldn't be doing Bhagavatam class here. Because the poison he holds is very dangerous. It can annihilate everything. So he's controlling, he's saying, don't do. Where does the forgive? Please, I'll finish this, okay? I'll finish this now. I know I'm really grilling you down with painful history and science and all that, but just bear another few minutes. Where does the forgiveness come from? Think about this, please. Where should the forgiveness come from? Give me some, help me out here. Where does the forgiveness, not just for us as devotees, on the planet, where did the forgiveness come from? Where should the forgiveness come from? And why are people losing the nature of forgiveness? Why are they losing patience? Why do you think? I'm asking you from very high level, transcendental level. Why do you think is everybody losing patience? Huh? Yes, why? Why? Yes. Huh? That's correct. Why? Huh? Sorry? Course of? Good, yeah, that's good. Selfish, yeah, that's good. More? Very close. Very close. Say again? Very close. I still have to give you that. Very close. Very close. This is the problem. You'll save yourself a lot of trouble if you understand this. Listen to this very carefully. You will save yourself a lot of trouble, and you'll save a lot of people that meet you a lot of trouble. When you're programmed, you've been from your school, from your childhood, when you're programmed that if you miss something in this life, you never have a chance again. When you program like that, do you know how much pressure that you're living in? You can't fathom how much pressure that you're living in. Please start to think about this. The reason there is so much pressure is people think they don't understand they're a conscious entity, a living force, an Atma that has no beginning and there's no end. When you are dealing with a faculty that has an eternal opportunity, all the gorgeous Miss Universes that boys are drooling on, all the 6 abs or 8 abs, Hrithik Roshans that the girls are, Hrithik Roshan, that's a bad, like very, very outdated. Is it? Okay. I have to start pick up new ones. So I have to start picking up new. Now I'm outdated. I'm telling my age. Anyway, whoever it is now, Ranbir Kapoor or something? Not even that. Anyway. So when you have, as a girl, when you have this, like this is the opportunity, you miss out and you're finished. Like the 6 abs and the curvy shoulders. And when you're a man, you're the hourglass figures and the busty, the lustrous. This is all you achieve this and this is it. But when you have this eternal conscious entity that lives forever, and he has access to all the pleasure of the universe just by accessing his relation with Krishna, when you understand this grand panoramic eternal view as yourself as an Atma, can you imagine how much forgiveness comes automatically? Because why? There's no need to get frustrated because you're not missing out on anything. The reason you're frustrated is because there's always a kick up on our asanas, if you know what I mean. There's always a kick up our asanas to try to achieve and get it in this life. But when you know, it hits home in the heart. It hits home in the heart. The penny sinks. I am eternal. I'm an eternal conscious force and I will never miss out on it. There's nothing that I'll miss out on. There's nothing to get frustrated. There's nothing to get angry. So one time I get someone spit. I'm standing with books. Someone spits on my face, takes my books and throws away. I picked up the books and I stood again. And the lady she walked all the way back 200 meters and said, that was very interesting. I said, what? The guy spit on you and he took your books and he threw away. I said, yes. And she started crying. That is very bad. And she picked up a few other books for me and she put hands on me and I said, wow, that is very sad. I said, see, the reason is he's frustrated because he's missed out on something. But I'm not frustrated because I know I'm not going to miss out on anything. So I should be compassionate on him. She fell down on the floor and she started crying. Oh my God. This is how it's supposed to be. Where did we come? And she's like, please accept my apologies on his behalf. I said, don't be silly. That's all right. So the reason we are frustrated is it's steaming up. The steam is building up in the jobs, in the homes, in the lives, in the colleges, in the universities, even in the 10th grade, even in year 10, year 12. The steam is building up. Why? If you miss out now, you're screwed. No. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you the good news. You are eternal, conscious entity, and there's nothing that you are going to miss out. Because you have access to Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. You get everything. Just by that is the sound of self-realization. That is the sound of self-realization. That is the sound of not missing out anything. That is the sound of all the fantasies that even the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter can't show you. To put Star Wars, Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter together, all the fantasies, the Marvel movies, Hare Krishna beats all of them by miles. So you have access to all the Marvel stories, you have access to all the hourglass figures, you have access to all the 6 abs, you have access to all the white sand beaches, just by chanting Hare Krishna. And the day you realize that this sound is not just a sound, this sound is a sound of self-realization. Let's do it again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Thank you very much. I'm very sorry, I've gone a little bit over, but if anybody has any questions and I threw you out of, please, Ishwareshwara Das Prabhuji. Very good, very good. I love you. I wish I had another guy. Very good. Very good. Because the same Parikshit who tolerated the Brahmana boy, but when it came to the bull, he picked up his sword. That's very good. Very good. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to conventional religion. After all my scientific and religious and historical. The Kshatriya's role was not to drive a military religion. The Kshatriya role was to make sure the Varnashrama system was functioning correctly. That was the role of Kshatriyas. Kshatriya's role is not to make sure there's a military religion reigning the kingdom. The Kshatriya's role was to make sure the Varnashrama was functioning in its proper place. Teachers are getting an ample opportunity to teach. Commercial people are getting an ample opportunity to do their commerce without any intercontinental bureaucracies. You understand? And Shudras are getting ample opportunities to pursue their employments and being taken care of by their bosses. Not slave trade, not concubines. You understand? Not exchange of concubines, not slave trades, not sex trades. But Shudras were taken care, not sex trades. You understand? So Brahmanas have an ample opportunity to teach. Chandragupta Maurya, Chanakya, beautiful history. If you get a chance, when you have some time, read the history of Chanakya. Classic. He trains Chandragupta every day by this. Make sure the teachers have an ample opportunity to teach. Make sure the commercial people have ample opportunity to conduct their commerce clearly with liberal, no intercontinental bureaucracies. Ukraine and Russia, if you know what I mean. You understand? Kshatriyas, ample opportunity that someone who has Kshauriyam Tejo Dutit Daksham Yuddhesha Apalayanam Dhanam Ishvara Bhavastha Kshatram Brahma Kshatram Samaja Kshatram Raja Swabhavaja. Anyway. So pick up those Kshatriyas who have that blood, give them the Kshatriya opportunity to fight. You understand? So that is the Kshatriya, the king's role, not to run a military religious regime, to make sure Varnashrama, Yasya Laksham Proktam, Purusham Vyamjami Vandikam. You never see that in India. Chandragupta, I've seen the whole history. I've read the whole history throughout when Buddhism came and Jainism came and the Turks were invading India with a fine-tooth combs from Alexander's invasion all the way last Bahadur Shah Zafar. I've gone through with fine-tooth comb. The very top. Akbar, this is very interesting for you to know. Akbar, who was actually the Mughal, came from to defeat and make, these people came to level India down and make it Islamic. He completely transformed by watching India's culture. These are so tolerant people. And he had two queues in his court. One was the Brahmanas and one was his Imams. And they were having healthy dialogues. That's why they hate Muslim. A lot of conventional Islams hated Akbar. Why? Because he got completely transformed. He said, what kind of country is this? How tolerant are these people? And he even married a Hindu lady. Did you know that? Just to show his inclusiveness. People come to India, they transform. In those days. I mean, even now, hopefully, if we do a good job, if ISKCON does a good job, we can bring that back. But many emperors, Alexander, I'll go through the whole history, he was shocked. He got a cultural shock of his life after crossing the Ganga. He said, oh my God, I don't need to convert, I don't need to make these people any more broad-minded than they already are. He was shocked, barber, absolutely shocked. People, they used to come and transform because of the inclusiveness. Yes, of course, the later idiots, after Shivaji was the last Varnashrama guy, doing it for the sake of Varnashrama. After Shivaji, we don't see that much anymore. But until Shivaji, I can promise you, that was prevalent. Dharma, Varnashrama Dharma, making sure all the bodies of the society are working together for a Krishna consciousness goal. That until Shivaji, I can guarantee you. After Shivaji, yeah, I'll agree with you. But not until Shivaji. I mean, before Shivaji, the reason Shivaji came was to re-establish that because he's seen so much diversification from the original aim. But Shivaji is an expressive king of what a Vedic king should represent. He was an explicit, complete definition of what a Vedic king is. Make sure everybody gets their career and ashram. Varnashrama dharma is just career. Just choose your career wisely, baby. So that's all it is. So kings used to make sure people get proper career. That's the reason they used military, so that they could build a proper pyramid of Varnashrama dharma, so everybody gradually grew to that level of the highest confidential knowledge. That was the military, not to promote Shivites, not to promote Vaishnavas, not to promote, no. They were inclusive, but at the same time they were exclusive. They also knew what their dharma was. As much as they're tolerant against Buddhists, at the same time they were tolerant that I need to be a Vaishnava. The minister of Chandragupta, it happens. A Buddhist comes to him. He talks to him for a while and he says, Tathagat. His name is Tathagat. You can read it, still there, Tathagat. He comes and he tells the minister of Chandragupta, come, why don't you come to our temples? We never see you around our temples. And he says, thank you very much. I donated you the temple. I gave you the money to construct the temple. I'm happy that you have a little ashram there, but please keep me out of there. I have my own Vaishnava. I am inclusive. I donated you a temple. I gave you the money, but please don't brush with me.